the day a mascot got ejected from an MLB game.
Hey, you kill that guy and you're over that dugout!
Base umpire Bob Davidson is throwing Youppi out of the ball game. He wants him off the Dodger dugout. Tommy Lasorda has put up a complaint.
Only in baseball can a grown man in an orange suit of fur get ejected from a game and somehow become a legend for it. It was the bottom of the 11th at Olympic Stadium. The Dodgers were grinding through a long doubleheader with the Expos. Everyone's exhausted, except one guy. He was bright orange, fuzzy, and bouncing on top of the Dodgers dugout in a full set of pajamas. In case you don't know him already, meet Youppi, Montreal's mischievous mascot. Loud, chaotic, and just impossible to ignore. And in that game against the Dodgers, his antics were driving Tommy Lasorda absolutely insane. So much that he stormed out of the dugout, chewed out the umpire, and the next thing you know, Youppi got tossed. It was the first and only time in Major League Baseball history that a mascot got thrown out. And honestly, it was glorious. But this wasn't just some goofy moment. It was a battle of personalities. The wild, chaotic ball of orange fur versus one of the most no-nonsense managers the game has ever seen. This is the story of the night baseball got weird. The night Lasorda snapped. The night Youppi became a legend. And it's one of the funniest and most unforgettable moments MLB has ever seen.
You've seen it all now, huh? Youppi's been thrown out of the game, off the Dodgers dugout. Well, Bob Davidson is really hearing it.
If you've never heard of Youppi, just imagine if the Muppets in a Montreal smokehouse had a baby and then fed it nothing but hot dogs, maple syrup, and chaos. Youppi made his debut in 1979 as the official mascot of the Montreal Expos, standing under 6 feet tall, covered in orange fur with an unhinged grin and a baseball cap perched sideways. On his head, he looked like a rejected Sesame Street character, in the best way.
But Youppi wasn't just a mascot. He was a menace in the most lovable, unfiltered, crowd-pleasing kind of way.
He rode mini motorcycles across the warning track as he pleased. He always crashed and burned for laughs. Youppi changed costumes mid-game, wore bunny ears, did cartwheels on the dugout, and photobombed every camera he could find. Fans loved it. Kids adored him. Even the players would sneak smiles when he was up to something ridiculous. And when the Expos left Montreal in 2004, Youppi didn't disappear. He got adopted by the Montreal Canadiens, becoming the first mascot in pro sports history to switch leagues. Why? Because the city wouldn't let him go. He wasn't just a mascot to them. He was Montreal's favorite troublemaker, a walking highlight. Real in fur. Now, if Youppi was chaos in a fursuit, Tommy Lasorda was chaos in a Dodgers uniform. A lifelong Dodger, Lasorda bled blue, first as a player, then as a coach, and finally as the manager who led LA to 2 World Series titles in 1981 and 1988. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1997, but ask any fan what they remember most, and odds are, it'll be the rants.
I love this place. Sometimes I sit here and I can't believe it. Blue heaven on earth. And that's what I think. I used to say, hey, if you want to get to heaven, you got to go through Dodger Stadium.
Tommy didn't just argue calls. He almost always went nuclear when they didn't go his way. He'd scream at umps, reporters, his own players, mascots, you name it. He once unloaded on a reporter for asking what he thought of Dave Kingman hitting 3 home runs against the Dodgers. He was so mad that he just couldn't stop swearing in every single sentence.
Your opinion of Kingman's performance?
What's my opinion of Kingman's performance? What the you think is my opinion of it? I think it was put that in. I don't opinion of his performance.
That interview has got to be in the top 5 of the craziest MLB interviews ever. Tommy was unhinged. Did you know he once tripped over, almost hurting himself badly, mid-game?
He said, I'm all right. Of course I'm all right. Didn't hurt me.
Only OG fans would remember this moment. It's one of many classic Tommy moments. But you see, out of everyone Tommy always unloads on, he hated mascots the most. The baseball general just never found them interesting. He famously body-checked the Philly Fanatic, nearly tackled the San Diego Chicken, and made it very clear he had zero patience for oversized dancing distractions near his dugout. So when Youppi showed up during that tense doubleheader, stomping around in pajamas and taunting his team, yeah, Tommy wasn't going to let that slide. Because while Youppi brought the party, Lasorda brought the fire. And when those two worlds collided, baseball history was made.
It's a 9-8 for this. And thank goodness that he's all right.
It was August 23rd, 1989, and the Dodgers were stuck in baseball purgatory. A long, exhausting doubleheader inside Olympic Stadium. The turf was worn. The crowd was thinning. The Dodgers were grinding through innings like they were dragging a truck uphill. And Tommy Lasorda? He was already in full simmer mode. Meanwhile, above their dugout, the energy was different. Youppi was on a tear. Wearing striped pajamas, Montreal's orange-colored troublemaker was busy doing laps on the dugout roof. He stomped. He danced and kept making these mocking poses for the cameras, and every time he made one of those weird faces, the crowd cheered. It was Youppi's playground. But to the Dodgers, it felt like psychological warfare. All of a sudden, Tommy's players couldn't focus. The dugout was rattled with every stomp, and Lasorda, who was already running low on patience, was fuming. The man came to win a baseball game, not get clowned by a cartoon Muppet in a bathrobe. The tension was building. Pitch by pitch, stomp by stomp, and if you know anything about Lasorda, you know it was only a matter of time before the whole thing exploded.
They want Youppi off the Dodger dugout. He's bugging the Dodger players, and Tom Lasorda is out.
It was the 11th inning of the doubleheader. The Dodgers and Expos were tied. Players were running on fumes, and Lasorda's fuse was down to the wire. And there was Youppi, still on the Dodgers dugout roof, still in his striped pajamas, still bouncing like he's at a slumber party. Every stomp sent vibrations through the dugout. Every goofy face earned another cheer from the Montreal faithful. He took the theatrics to a new level, pretending a nap, then gets back up and resumes pounding on the roof like he's summoning thunder. And finally, Tommy Lasorda snaps. He storms out of the dugout, eyes bulging, pointing toward the roof like a man possessed. He's not yelling at the Expos. He's not yelling at the umps. He's yelling at a mascot. Umpire Bob Davidson, one of the more experienced officials in the league, turns, looks at Youppi, and actually tosses him. The first and only mascot ejection in Major League Baseball history. The stadium fell silent for a second, then erupted in boos. Youppi freezes mid-pose, then slinks off the dugout like a kid being sent to the principal's office.
He wants him off the Dodger dugout. Tommy Lasorda has put up a complaint. This will draw the ire of the fans. And they want Buck Rogers out to get Youppi out of there.
Youppi had just gotten ejected and somehow managed to steal the show even harder. The next day, the press ate it up. Headlines joked that the Dodgers couldn't handle Montreal's biggest star. TV anchors called it peak baseball weirdness. Even Lasorda, grumpy as ever, couldn't completely hide his smirk in post-game interviews. After all, his team won anyway. It was silly, it was petty, but it was perfect. Because in a game known for tradition and tension, a giant orange mascot getting tossed was the comic relief no one saw coming and no one ever forgot. When the Montreal Expos left for Washington in 2004, it looked like the end of the road for Youppi, but Montreal wasn't letting go of their favorite orange menace that easily. In a move no other mascot has pulled off, Youppi switched sports, becoming the first mascot in history to go from MLB to the NHL, officially joining the Montreal Canadiens in 2005. Same fur, same chaos, but now on ice. And Youppi didn't miss a beat. He's still dancing, still pranking, still doing whatever it takes to get a laugh. In 2020, he was inducted into the Mascot Hall of Fame, joining legends like the Fanatic and the San Diego Chicken. Today, Youppi is a full-blown Montreal icon, 2 generations strong. He may not have a World Series ring, but he's got something better, a legacy built on pure joy and arguably the most legendary ejection in baseball history.
Bob Davidson is really hearing it. This is a first. Youppi's been thrown out of the ballgame.
Youppi wasn't the first mascot to feel Tommy Lasorda's wrath, and definitely not the last. Tommy had a thing about mascots. He didn't find them cute. He didn't find them funny. He found them distracting, especially when his team was losing. Even though getting Youppi tossed will always be iconic, his most famous feud with a mascot has to be his showdown versus the Philly Fanatic.
The Philly Fanatic has a stuffed mannequin of a Dodger, and Tommy trying to get...
At one game in the 80s, the Fanatic rolled out a Lasorda doll and started mocking his walk, his belly, the whole 9 yards. Tommy snapped. He charged the field, snatched the doll, and body slammed it into the dirt.
You see the physique of the of the mannequin. Tommy's a little bit hot, I think. Is he going to move that over? Now look at him go. Now he he says, "You don't make fun of me."
You've got to know by now that wasn't a one-off. Tommy regularly clashed with the San Diego Chicken and the Braves' Chief Nakahoma. You name a mascot, and he probably yelled at it. The thing is, it was never really personal. Lasorda came from an era where baseball was war, not theater. And yet, ironically, those blow-ups made him even more lovable. They showed just how seriously he took the game. Two legends. One ridiculous, unforgettable moment. This is why we love baseball, isn't it? It's not just the gameplay, it's the drama that comes with it. That night Youppi got tossed wasn't just hilarious, it was iconic. A perfect clash between fun and fire, between old school and pure mascot mayhem. And in a sport that thrives on tradition, moments like this remind us just how wonderfully weird baseball can be. So tell us, was this the greatest mascot moment ever, or do you have another favorite? Drop it in the comments, and while you're at it, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around for more legendary stories from the diamond. Because in baseball, you never know what's coming next.